you sent G-Rack to the other one.
Did I?
That's where he
Oh, I
is.
did. Oh, well, I mean, there. that tells you that. Okay.
Well, that stunning conversation about the ins and outs of how Discord works is brought to you by the new MCU Standcast, the Phantom Zone. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be your host this evening, Eric Fedorchak, where we just kind of laugh at all the people who've been complaining about how the MCU seems kind of directionless. And
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We're going there, and he's not even here to defend himself, huh?
Oh, I'm not even talking about anyone in particular, because that's been a general consensus for a lot of people. But yeah, hey, I'm gonna host the show tonight. I'm Ray Fedorchak. Who else is here with me?
The Arlen is here.
It's me. You know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
You all know.
And Lou's here.
Yeah, you're Connor McGraw. That's who you are.
Connor McGraw.
Oh, Lewis is here.
Yes.
You gave away a weakness, Lou. You shouldn't have done that.
I think a lot of that like talk comes from people who literally don't remember Phase 1.
Where there was literally no direction, and people who try to claim that there was.
Because we're at the point where there are like children who have not like that are almost adults who haven't grown up in an MCU-less world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They've seen 3 Batman in the same world.
It's like, don't get me wrong, this phase has seemed a little rocky, but that's not the fault of them not having a clear direction that they're going. That's just based on we've gotten a whole lot of different types of media from them this time.
They also just came off an 11-year thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they said afterwards they were doing it differently. That they kind of always said that there was going to be 3 levels. I feel like I always say his name wrong. Feige like has always said there's like the cosmic, Earth, and then street.
It's like, Lord Feige to you, first.
God King Feige.
Yeah, God King.
With the sandworms.
How do we want to approach this? Do we want to talk about the timeline for Phase 5 that they have, or do we want to talk a little bit about the
good start?
Well, I was going to say talk about the Black Panther trailer first, since that's technically the end of Phase 4.
You know what? You're smarter than me, so we'll go with that. More experienced, I'll say. Actually, I'm going to retract.
All right, that works better. Yeah. So that trailer makes me so sad that Chadwick Boseman is not there to be in it.
No.
Yes.
That looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I'm. Coogler did it again, as far as I can tell. I mean, you never know. It could crash and burn, but like, I think it.
He has like, I don't know if there's anybody that's going to give that movie shit because of we all know what like happened, and like they knew and didn't know, and all besides all the fucking, I don't even remember her name, the sister.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that is not who I was talking about in that trailer in the Chat Hunter. I was talking about Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh no,
she's like not in that trailer at all.
She's the opening shot though.
Yeah, she's the opening. She's in quite a bit of it. I was looking out for it too. Yeah.
I didn't. Maybe I don't know. I was watching on my phone. I did not really notice her.
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like she's got to be the one in the suit.
Well, did you not notice the scene that had her like doing the fist bump with someone in the labs, very similar to the way she and
that was that Letitia, or that was Lupita? That was Letitia, and I'm pretty sure that's the actress playing Ironheart that she's fist bumping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it showed the actual heart that she was hitting out of the armor, the metal.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm getting the actresses confused. I was thinking Letitia was. Yeah,
we were ranking them last.
What's the tier list? What's the tier list, guys?
God damn it! Yeah, but regardless, no, I don't think she really was in a whole lot of the trailer. You're correct.
And I feel like that was purposeful. Like we saw, I think It was mostly, oh my god, I can't remember.
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett, which I love.
Yes.
Bassett,
yeah. No, it's well. I mean, she's a great actress, so yes, give her more to do because she was great in the first one. But go ahead.
I was not expecting Martin Freeman to come back. To be honest with you.
And I knew he was back in it because I had seen interviews where he'd been talking about how like what the feeling was on set without Chadwick there. You know, that they're all like sad, but they're also really proud to be in this movie and all this other stuff. So I knew he was coming back.
I feel like they invested like enough into like getting an actor of his caliber, like to just make him go away would be weird.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think maybe Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. I would connect his character with Chadwick, and no Chadwick. I would assume less or no Martin Freeman.
Well, and we don't know what order any of the stuff in the trailer is from because there could be something where like, you know, the people that we didn't see a lot of were out on some sort of a mission, and that's how they're going to say that God damn it, why can't I say his thank you, T'Challa. I was going to say T'Chaka or Chakala. Maybe that's how he's going to end up dying.
Or like maybe they were all busy having water births, as we saw.
Exactly. Yeah, which, speaking of water, oh, my sweet baby boy Namor got wings on his legs. I'm so happy.
MCU pulled him out of that closet that he was dying in at Universal. The skeleton that we.
Yeah, he's no longer strapped to a man's wrist inside of a suitcase.
Maybe Pascal with the long con.
Well, and I love the shot of him coming out of the water at various ages wearing like the green trunks, because I mean at first you see him in what looks like Aztec or Mayan garb, and then you see later on him just coming out of the water in his green Speedos, which that made me so happy. I mean, even if that's all I get, that's I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I love the scene of him like going like kind of descending to the throne with the giant shark jaws behind him. That's where like they had the issue of like it's going to be compared to Aquaman and all that stuff of what we saw with that Atlantis, and I like that it's interestingly the MCU version is going to be the darker version of Atlantis.
Yeah, which is weird.
Well, it makes sense for Namor because in the Marvel, like Atlantis was actually destroyed.
It's essentially like the actual lost continent. Like
yes, he's like at some points he's like the lone survivor at Atlantis in some stories. I think in the Ultimate version that was the case.
Yeah, I can't remember.
He was like literally like an ancient Atlantean prince that was like sealed away, and like they awoke him, and he was like with Sue's mom. If I remember.
Oh, was this in Ultimate Fantastic Four?
Yeah, Ultimates. Yeah.
Okay.
He was working his way down the bloodline, huh?
Yeah, because I mean, I have all of Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate X-Men, but I never got all of the Ultimate Fantastic Four. So, but regardless, like I like that they're doing something that we've never seen anyone do before with Namor, with his origins, or at least his human origins, and looking like he's taking on. I can't remember what the phrase is where it kind of describes like of like a Mexican, or at least a Mexican like continent based culture. Mesoamerican. That's it. Yeah. Like I love that they're doing that angle with him because that's so cool and it works.
Yeah, and it's something that like it was great. And I'm going to make the comparisons that they cast Momoa as Aquaman, but then we didn't see any Pacific Islander stuff in Atlantis. It was just sparkles, which it was cool, but we didn't see any of that. It's what they're doing different, where it seems like no, Marvel Atlantis is a continent that has a specific culture, and it's tying that culture to a real life culture, which you can very easily like draw. Like I am assuming that it's going to be Bermuda Triangle because that is part of that is in that Bermuda Triangle is one corner is like Puerto Rico, one is in South America, and I think the other one is in Mexico.
Okay.
I thought one of them just Florida.
I thought it crosses
maybe it's
Bermuda. Not Bermuda. What's the name of it?
I could look. I have a computer.
Well, obviously it's near Bermuda because it's called.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that it looks like that movie is going to continue on the same quality as the first one, because I really wasn't sure what was going to happen. I didn't know how much of Coogler's heart was still in it after losing Chadwick.
So it's Bermuda, looks like Miami, and Puerto Rico are the triangle.
Miami is where things go to die, so I get it.
Yeah, but like the Mayan Empire went all the way across there, so
okay. Well, then there you go.
Right. Yeah. Well, and even there's influences. The mostly forgotten and buried Native Americans in Georgia and the South had a lot of influences from there as well. But the white people wanted to forget about that. They wanted to erase some of that. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
I just like, it makes me look at it and I'm like, oh man, I just want to see like, and I think that's with all the other stuff like that they've been teasing is like, I just want to see some Aztec-ish god stuff.
Yes.
Like I want to see Quetzalcoatl like fucking come out of the ocean and just like lightning strike people.
Yes. Yes, I'm 100% behind that. I need my snake god with eagle wings. Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody else have anything they wanted to say about Black Panther?
No, it's just everything we can tell from what the trailer shows looks interesting to me. It matches with what I kind of expect. I've been, I was saying in the chat earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of flashback stuff. Just because I remember so clearly when they were talking about the first Black Panther, how the original Godfather was a huge inspiration. And yeah, which is why I'm saying so much about the flashback and why I think we could honestly get T'Chaka a lot in the movie.
Well, didn't he film scenes for it?
Huh? I think he did. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, even if he weren't in the movie, he did film stuff for it just to do it. Because they have that actor probably on some sort of contract. And what are they not gonna use him? So
I remember, like, when they filmed some of this back to back with Black Panther. Am I thinking something else?
Maybe they did. I don't know.
I feel like they started filming this like right
near the beginning of the pandemic. I remember.
Yeah, like the end of 2019, like fall 2019.
Yeah,
when a lot of filming really started picking up. That's when basically, like when it was like full force. We're doing
before Hell World
6 things at once again. Yeah,
well,
because they went down like 3 times, didn't they?
When did Chadwick die though?
He died.
Did he die last year?
No, 2020 during the pandemic.
Okay. I'm curious how his health was around 2019 if they started filming in the fall of 2019, because I mean, it happened quick. Like this was not something that just go ahead.
They might not have actually been filming when he was alive. I think that they had just written it. I can't be sure of that. I can't say
I'm pretty sure he was not alive when they started filming, because he passed away in like December 2019.
No, it was summer. It was midsummer.
Yeah, and I think they
August 28th.
Yeah, okay, so they started filming in the fall, I think, because they shut down like when everything shut down in like February, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because also the important thing is, Chadwick wasn't sure when he was going to pass. He knew it would be soon. He didn't know exactly when. And that's why he was doing What If basically up until he passed.
Yeah.
I think everybody that knew he was not going to be able to fill another film.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, but that's why having the dad makes sense. And for those that have somehow never seen The Godfather Part 2, there's a lot of young Vito Corleone in that movie. It's almost an entire other movie that's just
and T'Chaka has lots of rich comic history.
Yep.
Because like the other thing I could see them doing, because of the way the timelines of the film is, if they don't want to get that actor, finding a different actor and doing World War II stuff.
Sure.
Because I believe like that at some point in the comics, T'Chaka, which they could obviously change it, was fighting like on the African front in World War II.
That sounds right.
And they could play with the Defenders concept a bit.
Yeah.
Is that who it is? Is it the Defenders?
Defenders, yeah, and I mean that was Namor, Ghost Rider, Human Torch, and Captain America. Yeah.
In World War II, isn't that Invaders? Isn't that
yes, Invaders, not
Defenders?
Defenders.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Defenders is the Hulk, Silver Surfer, Doctor Strange, and I forget.
It's like 17 different groups of the Defenders.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There was one point during the trailer, and maybe it's just because of the angle, but it looked like at one point M'Baku was wearing the Black Panther outfit, and maybe it was just his chest plate looked.
I think it's I like, and I love that actor. I love what he did with that character. I'm like, there's no way they can do that. I really don't think there's a way to put another current time male in that role.
No, I don't. I don't know if we're even going to see any more Black Panther after this. We'll see maybe somebody else adjacent to it from Wakanda, but I don't know if they'll ever put anybody else back in the Black Panther role.
Well, like if you look at like stuff like the Disney parks and stuff like that, it's like the Dora Milaje are everywhere. Like
and we've seen them pop up again too.
Yeah, so it seems like it's going to be them and maybe Letitia. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe. Hopefully, she learned a lesson from all of this, but probably not.
Possibly. I mean, again, it looks like an ensemble to me, which suggests that like if there is going to be a Black Panther, I think you're right, Eric. They may lean away from that because I think it actually makes Wakanda slightly more interesting. It's why I initially thought the idea of a Thor 4 without Thor's king would be more interesting. But I could see them sort of more leaning on like that aspect of their multiple different characters that we're following, and just many different stories, and much more of like you're going to the story for a world rather than a lead. But at the same time, I could also see the movie being all of these people now have to hold that weight that the Black Panther would traditionally carry. And none of them possibly feel like they deserve it, and some of them probably feel like they very much deserve it. And I could see the story being about that. I could see it being M'Baku really believing that he has to be the one to fill it, and learning throughout the course of the movie that actually somebody else deserves it. So I could see a Black Panther at the end of the movie, essentially what it was, the short version of what I'm saying. But I don't know.
And then like it could be like very political thriller-esque, which it seems like who's going to be in charge, because now it's also like T'Chaka's dead, T'Challa's dead, and now it's literally like there is no son of a dynasty thing, which was apparently what Wakanda was. And then how does Atlantis fit in this? Because I can't remember what the story was called. It was like maybe 10 years ago, where it was like the Atlantis, where Namor sent all the people be like sleeper agents.
That was was that Infinity?
I don't
because
remember.
that was when T'Challa had Atlantis destroyed, and then Namor informed them that an Infinity Stone was in Wakanda. But yeah, they were still at each other's throats before that too. I can't remember what the storyline was.
Yeah,
but yeah,
because I could see this being like somehow somebody gets Atlantis to think Wakanda did something, and then that sparks. Although it would be interesting if Wakanda just did something fucked up in the past, and like Namor is like the revenge that's been sitting. But that's kind of a lot like what the first movie was.
Yeah. But that I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with. I'm completely fine with that, and I'm fresh off of finishing the FX series, The Old Man. So my brain is kind of programmed to look at it in like there's like a deeply personal reason behind this, possibly. These characters could have gotten close. I suggested it again in the chat. It could have been that they had to like come together at some point in the past. And
that was my thought, that like Namor could be like some descendant of Wakandan and Atlantean royalty.
Sure.
And with T'Challa that he's looking for the throne.
Well, I'm wondering more. It's something you brought up in the chat, Arlen. Was it looked like CIA or at least military of some sort involved with the military. So I was trying to think of what like ops had been going on that we now know about down in that general area in the 90s, which I mean it could be 1,000,001 different things.
Somalia stuff?
No, because that would be too far away from where all of this is happening.
Central America specifically.
Oh, you mean in South America? I thought you meant in Wakanda.
Well, like, no.
Oh, in South America? Oh, there's a shit ton of stuff. Exactly. That's like all the cocaine stuff is like 80s, 90s.
You have all the Europe stuff, also all the Eastern Europe, fall stuff, the collapse.
Hunter, you were going to say something?
Yeah, like we don't even know if like the French even fuck with Wakanda when they were down in Africa. Kind of like how like they're kind of responsible for whatever it's called. Isn't like the current state of like warlords in Africa is because of the French leaving stuff behind?
It's a combination of them, us, and the Dutch.
Yeah. Well, the Dutch especially,
because the U.S. made Liberia,
something like that. Yeah,
I believe, and then the French is like Senegal and like a lot of East Africa, and the Dutch is all like South Africa.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like it could be like leftovers from like that period.
Yeah,
could be. Also, I just thought of something. Even though I think it would be before the events of the beginning of Black Panther, there was the first Iraq War that did happen around the 90s. So
it would be very interesting for them to play with.
But I don't understand what the connection of the Iraq War would be to an area that looks like it's definitely going to be more like South American.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I don't understand what that connection would be.
I'm looking at the ocean stuff specifically, and I'm like, okay, what's in the ocean stuff? What are they?
Well, I know, but I just think with how heavily they're leaning into the Aztec or Mayan look to what's going on with Namor, I don't think it would be that far out in the ocean. I think it's going to be I think Bermuda Triangle is actually a pretty spot on thing.
Yeah. So I just had two thoughts. The second one I'll say is the one I think it's more likely. The first one is South America. What if it's the flashbacks is Hydra doing shit in South America?
Oh, shit.
Following World War II.
Okay.
That they've been growing bases up in there.
No, I could see that.
If they're still very much Nazis, they're looking for all kinds of supernatural weapons still.
Yes.
So,
and then
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the other thought is the other big organization, which we know that they're bringing back up because of another movie, and that is what if part of it is AIM trying to find Atlantean technology?
Possibly. I think the Hydra. I think
the Hydra thing would be more interesting.
It's great, but I think they're kind of done with Hydra right now.
Yeah, because they've used all the big Hydra bads, except for we know the Madam Hydra. What's her name playing?
Louise Dreyfus.
Yeah.
See de-aged Dreyfus, and I think she was.
Well, she would be like a baby. I would think it'd be interesting to bring back. Who would be? They could bring back a Strucker.
Arnim Zola.
I mean, it could be
exactly.
Bring back Toby Jones.
Could be a Zola Jr. or whatever.
Well, there were many Zolas. So,
well, there's a whole lot of stuff that it could be. It might be. it probably won't be, because who the fuck knows. But yeah, there's a million other things that got announced today.
Well, it's Latveria, clearly. That's being led by Mephisto. Yeah,
it could be. And again, don't rule out just the actual CIA. That could be why Martin Freeman's there, to be like,
exactly.
Well, the CIA is also Mephisto.
Well,
so
Hunter, you joke, but Doom has like huge connections to Atlantis. I believe that's where he learned his magic from, right?
Yeah,
he learned it from his gypsy mom.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well,
we don't say those words anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Roma mother. Yeah.
They might want to leave that out in this version.
Well, who knows? Regardless, so what else is on the slate? Because I've got it in front of me. Ant-Man, Wasp, Quantumania, which just
tied into what I was talking about. Yeah, because I think someone said
MODOK.
MODOK.
Oh, MODOK's going to be in that.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's where like I had my thoughts of AIM popped in with like Wakanda, like with that Atlantis stuff.
It could be. I mean, that would be a good way to transition AIM over into something bigger if that is what's going on. If AIM is going to be a bigger thing, they need to be in their yellow jumpsuits with the beehive helmets, and that's it. They can't wear anything else.
I'm curious if they even do AIM. I mean, they might. Who cares? You know, I mean, they've done the 10 rings 3-4 times now, and they've just now gotten to the real 10 rings. So
I mean, that organization could still exist. Like,
right? They could just be like, no, this is the real AIM now. This is not the AIM in name only.
Well, and that's the other thing.
But I did.
They need something like that because they don't have Oscorp or anything like that to be making the weapons. And like, Justin Hammer is a joke, which they've never brought back.
And they've never really played. They've like teased Roxxon a bunch, but they're never really like a big deal.
No, Roxxon is always like a Spider-Man adjacent character.
They're the GoBots of like the bad guy corporations.
Yes, they are. They're somebody that you have Cloak and Dagger fighting.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
They literally did that in that TV show.
Of course they did.
Lou, who should be the Norman Osborn, Lou? Your boy Iron Fist. He should be
oh
the
God.
But
yeah, with Quantumania, like I don't know. Like
there's not a whole lot of info, honestly.
No,
well, we know that like Kang is in it. We know now MODOK is in it.
Yeah.
Didn't they hint? I feel like didn't they hint that there's like some of the Young Avengers are supposed to be in that movie?
I haven't heard anything along those lines.
I feel like they said something because there was rumors that like Kang might be leading them, like a group of younger heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's not a lot of information other than like what Marvel has told us, kind of.
Yes.
Like today, they were kind of like they're saying like explaining that Ant-Man after saving the world, he wrote a book, which I think is kind of reference in Spider-Man. There was a reference to that recently.
Oh, I did not notice that.
No, I think you're right. Holy shit! Yeah,
it's in Kamal Khan, Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, that's like the first episode. They establish a bunch of stuff about what.
I just did not pay attention.
Well, that's how Kamala knows about Carol. That's their explanation for why she's a character who's
I was gonna say okay, so that makes sense because why the fuck would anybody know who she is?
Right.
Or why anybody knows anything about the Battle of New York either, too, because New York was alive essentially.
Yeah. So the next thing is Secret Invasion. No, it's Guardians.
Guardians, which there was actually a trailer shown, but it hasn't been released yet.
Okay.
I think there was a couple like big character names that were dropped because there's Cosmo is going to be voiced.
Okay, good.
And I think we already knew Adam Warlock is in it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will Poulter.
Yeah. I was reading an interview with him where he was talking about like his diet when he was working out to get in shape for it. And he was saying like, there's some days you look at food and you don't want to eat anything at all. And there's other days where you want to eat the chair you're sitting on and the flooring underneath it. Like I just thought that was funny.
I really appreciate
to have to work out for because he's supposed to be like the epitome of like biology.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but they also showed off they announced the casting for High Evolutionary, we all know, but I did not know that he would showed up in costume. And
shit!
I just linked the tweet.
Oh shit!
Oh, is it in here or in Facebook?
In here. Hold on, did I put it in the right one?
You might not have.
Here, let me put it right here.
I know where you
put it. Oh yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah. Oh. See, I think it works because it's very similar to the Eternals. Like it's very similar vibe.
And it doesn't look like it's covering his face. Like
no.
there might be points where like a mask comes over it. I mean, there's going to have to be. You can't do that character without that. But yeah, just from the back here.
And I've seen him in some good stuff. I can't remember what I've seen him in, but
yeah, I don't know if I've seen him in anything.
He's in Peacemaker. Yeah, he's
what's his face?
Butterfly, who's on their side. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm looking. He was in John Wick 2.
That's how I knew he was in this, because I remember rumors that came up around when Peacemaker happened.
I remember where I know him from. The ill-fated final season brought to Netflix, Designated Survivor, starring Keith Sutherland.
No idea.
Where he's like, he becomes president because everybody else in the government is killed.
Okay.
I know the show. I think most of us know the concept.
Yeah, he showed up in the last season to replace a character who they killed off.
And actually, the looking at this, the next thing I don't think is Guardians after Quantumania. It's actually Secret Invasion. It's they just have it as spring. It's nebulous, but
I'm so curious about that movie because
Colby Smolder's coming back for that too.
Oh, nice. Cool. And I know there was filming done where Samuel Jackson wasn't wearing Nick Fury's eye patch. So some of it's taking place either before he got the scratch or it was
I would think it'd be funnier if it's just a scroll. He's like, man, why do I have to wear this stupid eye patch? And just like,
I don't know.
Because he's like, I actually have two eyes.
I'm really curious what it's going to be because, I mean, they've kind of established the Skrulls as good guys.
Yeah, that's where, like, I wonder if it's more of a Meet the Skrulls. Was that the book?
Maybe.
I mean, there are a few things it could be. I go back to this, and this has been my thought for a while, this Doctor Who 2-part series that they did not very long ago, where that universe is essentially their version of the Skrulls, which are like giant sea star people. They can also transform into people like us, and because they've been on Earth as established in the story for so long, there are multiple generations of them, and the oldest generation is assimilated, and they're like, no, we're cool with humans, we don't want to hurt them or do anything, we're just content to be us. And this new younger generation of shapeshifters is really mad that they can't just be themselves and be all sea fishy and whatnot.
Well, I mean, the other thing I think we're forgetting is, like, isn't this supposed to be the multiverse saga? So it could very easily just be Skrulls from
another universe.
I can see that as well.
That would be
a lot of things being.
I kind of think that it's going to be less that the Skrulls are invading and more that they're more like secret agents.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my other thought is, what if they flip it and it's not the Skrulls who are the secret invasion?
Yeah.
There are other alien species, and one that popped in my head, which would be a tease to other properties they own, is
the Dune.
Oh, I was gonna say the oh my god, now I just lost it. The fucking bug people rip off from Alien.
Oh,
the Brood.
The Brood.
They shapeshift too.
But the Brood are so connected to the X-Men.
Sure. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I think it would be a fun little.
It could be. I don't know because I feel like they're still just going to be peppering that stuff in because they're not ready to do full on.
I feel like we're getting closer and closer, though.
Yeah. We are, but I don't know. I don't remember the Brood being able to shapeshift. Like,
they lay eggs in people's heads.
Well, yeah, they do that.
Over, but like that would be a secret. Like they have like a nest where they're slowly.
Okay.
It would be kind of like
that could work.
Oh my god, my brain's just not working. What's the one with like
Peacemaker?
With, no, with other Sutherland where he does the point.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yeah, Puppet Masters. That movie.
Donald Sutherland. No,
it's
where he
Puppet Masters. It's a movie.
Yeah,
I hate you.
Yeah, I know exactly what. I know what you're talking about.
No,
Oh
Body Snatchers. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Okay, because there's a.
We were the only ones because.
No, I know that movie, but like Puppet Masters is the one I went to right away.
Yeah.
I just googled this. You know that's distributed by Disney.
Puppet Masters.
Oh, yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So that's coming to Disney Plus. Look forward to it, everybody.
Well, it's already there in England because they're cooler than us.
It's honestly not that bad a movie. But anyways, I didn't even think about the connection of them like controlling them because I always thought they just laid the eggs in them, that the brood didn't take over the body. But I also
they like slowly, and then the person transforms into a brood.
Okay.
Like eventually, if I remember correctly, like because that's how one of the 85 times Xavier dies.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gets a brood egg laid in his head.
Oh god.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would work for Nick Fury to have like an alien invasion like that, and I mean, he could end up working with the Skrulls to defeat them or whatever.
Yeah, that was my thought. And with Marvels on the horizon, like they're also very tied into Carol.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like we're forgetting that both. Well, I mean, have you already realized, Lou, that how far into Miss Marvel are you?
I've seen 2 episodes. I don't care.
Okay.
I am also only 2 episodes in.
Well, it's something. Excuse me. It's something that's in the first episode. If you're paying attention when Kamala and her mom are going out and doing errands, you see one set of the 10 rings from Shang-Chi on a wall as they walk past it. So they're connecting Shang-Chi with Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's that makes sense. When you see her gauntlets too.
Yeah. They're like there's like some ancient artifacts.
So I'm thinking the Marvels is going to be going further into that aspect. Because we got that teaser at the end of Shang-Chi where they're like, no, this is older than like anything we know about at Kermitage. And, it seems to be sending a signal out to space. And it seemed like Carol was going to say something. So, yeah, it's those things are going to be definitely connected. And it's going to be probably further out stuff that they're planting seeds for. Sorry.
Yeah. Which then I look at other things that they're putting out and like, oh, what character awesomely in a very different version showed up in another property of theirs? And you guys all played Guardians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's in that fucking game? That's connected to all that.
Ruby Thursday.
Foom. And I'm like, there's fucking Hunter Giant Dragon.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that's why we'll never get him, though. That's why it will never happen.
Yeah. So we talked about Guardians a bit. Echo is the thing after Guardians, which like I liked Echo in the comics when David Mack was doing the artwork, but outside of that, I'm kind of like, unless she is wearing the Ronin suit, I don't really care.
This is because, like, I think I mentioned this in the chat. I think they're really working towards making all the street level stuff connected.
Okay.
I think this could be like her
getting connected with Daredevil finally.
Yeah, and like trying to take down Kingpin.
Yeah,
Kingpin's coming back, obviously. Like,
yes.
Well, yeah.
They've already said that like both he and Charlie Cox are in that show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's. I mean, and that's the thing. I think it could be leading into him going back into his rise of power because I think Hunter, you pointed out something really good at the end of that one run of Daredevil where you hear.
Rain.
Yeah,
that was right. That just started. That just finished a little while ago too.
Yes.
Yeah, well, no, where you hear the two. Yeah, it's the 2 gunshots, and she shot out the Kingpin's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be blind.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm 100% into that.
So it's also I'm just. It's like it's so awesome to see like, and people like the wokeness, but like we have a Mesoamerican character in the Black Panther thing, which is like awesome in the MCU. We have all these awesome characters in Guardians. We have Ironheart, and now like to have a show centered around a indigenous, actually deaf, like
Oh yeah,
Wait,
she's
she's missing a leg, I think.
paraplegic. Yeah,
Paraplegic.
she is. Yeah.
So like, and I thought she was great in her scenes, and I think there's a lot to play with in that character. It would be interesting, like one of the characters who we never got to see like fully fleshed out in the Daredevil show. I don't know if they'd be able to get. I don't know why they would be able to get her back, but if they wanted to, but like we never got to really play with Typhoid Mary. I think she would be a fun character. I know, but she's so connected to all that Kingpin bullshit. I think she's married to Kingpin in that storyline.
I think it's going to take a little while before we get back to that. Like, I don't think they're going to touch anything that was in the Netflix stuff, not for a little while. That's my guess. So Loki season 2 is summer of 2023.
Yeah.
Which, I'm really curious to see what that's going to be, because I wouldn't disagree with what you had said, Arlen, in the one chat, was that like Loki is going to kind of be our Tony Stark going forward.
Yeah, it makes
popping up and everything.
Well, he's the character that we have the most attachment to emotionally, I would say. He's the character that has the biggest arc to go still. Even with everything that has already happened, and
he has the most information.
And getting to that moment, which will, I think, happen towards the end of this Loki who has decided firmly that he wants to be the good guy. Him running into Thor again is a moment that I think is going to hit a lot of people in ways that they don't expect when it eventually occurs. And I could just see all that. I could see that playing out, and it would just make the most sense.
Well, real quick. My prediction is going to be when they do meet, that Thor movie is going to be the one where Thor dies or passes the hammer on to somebody else.
Oh,
yeah. By then, because by then Chris Hemsworth is going to be tired and old. Sorry, back to your thought.
I was just going to say, like, if you're just looking at characters, you're not looking at straight up down the line heroes. He is like the third most senior person in the universe that people have genuine affection for and have had genuine affection for the longest. And he's the only one still in the universe. So it does make the most sense to give him the hero role, or just the main protagonist role. And they've already done the work of giving him a reason to do that.
Well, yeah, they gave him the hero's journey.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense for it to be him versus Kang. Kang is his opposite and equal in every way that Thanos was Tony's. And in the ways in which they're reflections of each other. But also different in all the ways that Loki is different from Tony. So
I would also like to see Sophie's journey living through the world she's now created. Or like the multiple, like living in the existence of like, you did this. Like, if you didn't do this, it's like a very interesting philosophical, which is what was really good at the end of that show. It's like the bad guy is doing the bad things because he has to. And if you stop him, gets replaced by something infinitely worse. And I think playing with those philosophical questions is what made that first scene, at least for me, like really hit. And I would love for them to play with that more.
It's also kind of the inverse of Tony Stark too, where Loki, like Tony Stark started out as kind of a bad guy, but like Loki is also he's starting out as a bad guy too, but he's always been the bad guy essentially.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it does seem like he's going to sacrifice himself
at some point. Yeah.
Well, he's already done it technically.
Yeah, but I mean the Loki we have from the show, which is still our Loki, but not our Loki at the same time.
Loki too.
Yeah. And actually something that makes me think about too is I wonder how much, like, once Kang has his full introduction, how much like him being able to fiddle with time is going to affect things within these films. Like, are we going to see subtle hints that like he has a bigger influence over the world than we've realized at this point? And is that just going to be slowly building in the background? I mean, based on some of the other announcements, I think that is going to be the case, but that's just me.
Yeah, I would think we'd get quite like post-credit scenes like we got with Thanos of like, oh, he like shifted this event, like, and he's just like has like a book or something, and he's like, all right, well, it would like that went not according to plan or did go.
Well, I just mean little things like, you know, showing that he's trying to exert some control over the multiple universes in the world, because I mean, it being able to have time and access to the universe is like he could basically rule any world he wanted to. So will there be like small, like, oh yeah, that's the Kang National Bank or something like that we'll see in the background, like just little things like that, you know, that give you like, okay, so he's been muddling here too. But I don't know. I mean,
Well, that the one that we're supposed to see all that in first is Ant-Man.
Yeah, but
So,
I mean, I think that's just his big premiere. I'm wondering going forward, because that's not going to be the last we see of him, as we know from much later down the line movie announcements.
Oh, and even then, that's supposed to this is just speculating based off of rumors and what has been confirmed. Not the microverse, because they can't call it that. But that's supposed to play a part in the plot of the movie. Apparently, I assume we're going to be seeing Ravonna again, because I think that they announced her back when Loki season 1 happened that she was also in Quantumania. So I assume we'll be picking up some of that stuff, but also going into some comic stuff, because I know that they have connection to that as well. So
yeah, I don't know,
but I'm very curious to see how it plays out.
So the
time agency could be in the quantum realm.
Could be. It could easily be. Yeah.
So the next thing on the docket is the Marvels, which I'm not going to see because it's a bunch of women, and I saw Brie Larson. I saw a picture of Brie Larson frowning, which means she's probably frowning
not just women
right now.
It's multiple women of color leading a movie.
Exactly.
Of different ages.
In space at once, maybe even all three of them in space at some point. I mean, come on.
The woke, the woke liberal mob made us watch this movie.
It's gonna be Pakistani space lasers instead of Jewish space lasers, like Marjorie Taylor Greene said.
And they're women. They're women.
Yeah, exactly. No, like I'm really curious how having the actress who played Miss Marvel being in the Marvels is going to lighten up the mood a little bit, because I feel like that's something that Captain Marvel wasn't as lighthearted as it thought it was. Like, I still enjoyed it.
I think that makes sense for her character, like realistically.
Well, no,
like she's a military person, so yeah. But I agree with you.
Like it still didn't have. I don't know. It there were times in that movie where it felt like it was trying to be more lighthearted, and it didn't realize it wasn't coming across that way.
It will also be interesting because it is the first time we'll see. Shit, I can't remember what her name is besides Captain Marvel, the one that was in WandaVision. No, WandaVision.
Oh, Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau, like post, and that was our introduction to Sword, I believe.
It was
supposed to be in Secret Invasion, or
oh yeah, she is. No, I thought she was. Yeah, no, I think you're right. And yeah, I forgot that what's her fucking face from Game of Thrones, Emilia Clarke was cast in Secret Invasion. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. A lot of
people assumed she was like the
Skrull Queen.
Skrull Queen. She's like the major character,
or she could be Abigail Brand.
Right.
Oh my god, that would be.
Skrull Queen was the thing though that they put in all the articles. Who could Emilia Clarke be? And
if she was Abigail Brand, oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like her with the green hair and the shades, just being an absolute like awesome asshole to everyone,
and then getting down on Beast.
She just I would just love a scene where she's just picking blue fur out of her teeth, like and just pose as blue fur, and then just we don't address it, and just those who know.
But with the Marvels, I don't even really know what that's going to be. Like I said, I think that's going to be answering some of the questions about Kamala's bracelet, and
I was gonna say like that connects to like the 10 rings and all that shit.
Yep. Yeah.
I have a lot of assumptions based off of the end credit scene, but I know Hunter and Lou, you haven't seen that, so
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean some of that, but I don't know.
I wonder if we'll see in that or in the other one like an explanation of Monica's powers, because like
maybe
she has her powers, but like they came from Wanda. So does that make them?
She's a mutant to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think they were saying they came from Wanda. Like, I think it's either she's a mutant or like her.
I read from WandaVision that like she like her getting blasted through that thing changed her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot she got blasted through that. So yeah, technically they came from that, but I mean, I think we had talked at the time that like it could have jump started her mutant gene.
I can see it being a very similar thing to what the Stone did to Wanda.
That too.
Like which would be interesting because then both her and Carol have powers from two different stones.
Yeah,
because hers would come from Wanda, which came from the Mind Stone.
Was it the Mind Stone? Okay.
Yes, because that's
Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be really interesting if it didn't really touch on anything other than like what we were talking about. Like it goes deep cosmic, which I would be fine with.
Hilarious to see the Kamala character just like I'm in space.
Yes, with Captain Marvel. So yeah, that's July. Like, so there's Blade in November and then Ironheart in fall. So I guess Ironheart would be next. Which I don't really know much about the character from the comics, so I mean, I'm whatever. I'm all for it. Different types of representation.
I think based on what we've seen, I believe she's a genius. I think she's a freshman college student, so she would be Spider-Man's age, and I believe technically she'd be the same age as T'Challa's sister, which I can't remember her name. And I believe the idea is she is the outcome of the program that is created at the end of Black Panther.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That was sort of my assumption.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That would make sense why she's in Wakanda forever.
Yeah, because I think in the comics, she like in her college dorm room fabricates a like Iron Man armor, and Tony is like, "I'll take you in." So it makes sense in this world that it's Wakanda that takes her in. To fund
well, especially after everything that he says at the end of the first Black Panther, so that works. Right. Yeah, but I don't know enough about her to know really what even is going to go on for a show. Like if that's going to be based in Wakanda at all, or if it's going to be based back in California or wherever this is going to be. So I
think her thing is going to be our true first like assembly of like a Young Avengers team.
Yeah, I could see that.
Of like finally putting those pieces together. Like we have them all over the place. And then like, because she's introduced in Black Panther, she's in the trailer, like that is our story of her bringing like them getting together.
Possibly.
Yeah. Which reminded me would be also interesting in Secret Invasion is an introduction of Hulkling.
I don't know if we're going to do that. I don't know.
We have Kree in this world, and we have girls in this world,
but
and we have Wanda who has had kids.
But it's once again like
it.
They could, but they're bringing out She-Hulk, which I think is already them being like, all right, let's see if they're ready for two Hulks. Like I think having Hulkling would muddy the water.
Well, that's just playing with the name, but like a Secret Invasion, just thinking it would be very interesting if it's they've been hiding Hulkling on Earth.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much I really want it to be anybody else from the Secret Avengers comic, honestly, because they've got enough different people that they could do their own thing and not have to have.
Clearly, they need Kid Cyclops. They need him.
Hulkling only be cool because like it would be like a very like one of the most been open for a very long time gay characters. In the MCU.
Yeah, but it's Disney is still not that great with gay characters. They're still kind of trying to get their feet underneath them for that because
besides in the US it won't play in China. Like they literally won't play it.
That too. Yeah. But yeah, they've still got some issues they need to
they'll just have to make like a cut of the film. It's like the everyone version and then like the Texas/China version.
So the next thing the next thing is Blade, which I will watch that regardless. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says.
I think there was casting rumors for Dracula.
So apparently, the rumor is Anthony Starr is playing Dracula.
Oh,
Homelander, right?
Yes.
True. I'm very into that, even if it's completely false.
I mean, it's a good casting, I think.
I would love that.
The thing is, he would, from what I saw online, is people think he would be playing not the Bela Lugosi version of Dracula, but like the long white hair, armored up Dracula.
And that's awesome.
Yes.
The Bela Lugosi one is very fun because he is who, when Blade was part of, what was
the
it?
Avengers.
No, it was when he was part of the Excalibur and MI-13 that they fought Dracula on the moon, and it's the Bela Lugosi version.
Yeah.
Oh, because that version shows up again in the Jason Aaron Avengers run.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but also he has white hair and he uses swords, and he's also a vampire.
Yeah, he looks like a oh my god, the Castlevania character.
Oh, he does. He does.
Yeah, he looks like Alucard. Yeah.
I just dropped it in the chat. Like,
but yeah, it's Blade. We don't know anything about, and I mean, I'm fine with that. But I need Blade.
There's all these like little hints that Marvel's trying to make more mature movies, because like also announced yesterday they were talking about how Marvel Zombies, like the animated show, is going to be TVMA.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't, like, it's zombies.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that makes me wonder if we're going to be edging closer and closer to the first R-rated Marvel film.
We are, because Deadpool 3 is coming.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how much that's really connected. I mean the stuff that they're like pushing like this.
I literally could see the first 2 minutes of like Deadpool 3 being like he gets punched and falls through a door, and now he's in the MCU.
Yes, please. I want that.
Like, that's literally just the opening like credits of the movie.
I mean,
and he's just like, the fuck?
Yeah. They're not gonna leave Deadpool out to dry, because like people love that character.
And you
It's
have
a money
Ryan
maker.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
So
So
you just need one taste. You just need one taste of the R-rated Marvel, and then you're like, I need more. Give me more. Yeah.
Hey man, Doctor Strange got us real close.
Yeah, it did.
Multiverse.
It did.
Yeah.
So
like,
next is going to be Hunter's Stan show, which is Agatha Coven of Chaos.
Yep. We stand. We love a queen.
Yep. Which whatever. I'll check it out. I like her. She's good. I will.
I see that as like
nothing. So whatever,
it'll be interesting if it's like after WandaVision, or if it's a prequel.
I think it's going to be a prequel,
or if it's a multiverse thing.
Oh, that's true. That's true. It could be a coven of witches from the multiverse, and that.
It could be her and other Agathas. Also, it could just be her.
She's 17 different versions of herself.
That'd be cool.
The Alpha Agatha. Yeah, I mean, then you could actually get the Agatha Harkness that we know from the comics, the old woman with the.
They just do the movie, the Jet Li movie, the one, but with her,
with Agatha's. Yeah, actually, that would be a way to bring back what's his fucking face from Doctor Strange, Mordo.
Oh yes.
Mordo,
yeah. Bring back the Mordo from like the MCU that we know, or the Prime universe that we know.
Prime?
Yeah, Mordo Prime, the one who's going around trying to stop wizards. Or
did he say Mordo died?
No, he's still out there somewhere. But Steven has clearly come across him. Like he makes it sound like they've had some scrambles, but nothing major has happened apparently. But yeah.
So the big one, at least to me, is this one from spring 2024, fucking Daredevil Born Again.
Yes, give me everything I love comes back around.
I think it was just like they just felt like the fans are like, no, we need Charlie Cox, and if that is the only street level thing that I think Tom Hiddleston will show up in, and that's just because they're buds.
Well, John was saying in the chat that it's supposed to be 18 episodes.
That's fucking wild. I don't know if I like that, but
I like it.
Fucking wild.
I don't know if I believe that unless they're half-hour episodes.
Give me it.
I don't think they could do a half hour.
I'm choosing to think that those are going to be like 2 9-episode
arcs.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
like this will be like a year or multiple
like a
months
fall and a spring.
Yeah, I could see that, and it'd be the first time that they've done that. It's a
Well, I
character.
can see them setting up like the whole first 9 episodes is like the rise of Kingpin, like to being mayor of New York, and the second half is like the actual dealing with that.
Well, and so this is the other thing we've known even before today. We knew, or it was rumored that it was him trying to find Jessica.
Yes, I think they've said that.
Which I could see that being the first 9 episodes, and then the next 9 episodes, it's Marvel team up. It's just him and Jessica. Which I'm all in on because of all the things from Defenders that I would want to save. Those two and their interactions are priceless.
Not the big handsome chocolate man.
Well, he has a job, which is strange that show still exists.
Yeah,
that show, which is far better than it needs to be. It's how dare it be a good show? I'm actually angry at it.
And I also want that Bullseye back. I really like what they did with that Bullseye.
He's really good.
I assume stuff that was on the show Daredevil, it's all on the table. It doesn't mean it's all going to come back. But
I also want Karen back because I love her forever.
Well, but what I'm trying to remember what happened in the Born Again storyline. Wasn't that the one where Karen sold his information to Kingpin?
Well, that's kind of what they already did in the last season.
Kind of did that in 3, which makes me think that we're going to tread over some ground we've already seen, but different.
Well, did they do the hard confirm that nun was Matt's mom?
Yes,
from the Netflix. Okay, because I don't remember much of it at this point. It's been a while.
She's his mom. The priest dies.
Okay.
Karen reveals like that she killed Wesley to him and to Kingpin,
which is their substitution for, I guess, the porn storyline.
Yeah,
I'm so glad they got rid of all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was shitty edgelord stuff. So
yeah, because the ending is basically he's like you go to jail and I won't you just go to jail and I won't turn over what I have on Vanessa.
Yeah,
Vanessa.
Well, they sort of use that in Daredevil season 2, where he's where Matt basically threatens to keep Kingpin in prison forever.
Yeah.
And the other thing that was the end was like Bullseye getting the adamantium skeleton, or spine or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're doing this because Charlie Cox is so good.
Maybe it's about him rebuilding, or part of it, the idea of Born Again, rebuilding the character of Daredevil.
Yeah, that could be
he wasn't Daredevil in that last season.
You know what's interesting is Captain America shows up in Born Again. So I wonder if
Sam,
if they just put Sam in that role.
Yeah.
Well,
and he's
said that Captain America is also a major part of Alias in that first run.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I could see it be a combo of that stuff, and I don't think Ritter's doing too much right now. I don't know that she's in anything.
She's not in Better Call Saul.
I mean, she
no.
I mean, she's raising a baby, so I guess that's
because I mean, working wise, I think the only one from any of those Netflix shows that has a show is Luke Cage.
Yeah,
I mean,
because Misty Knight and Bullseye show is canceled.
It's important to remember though that the old Randy Dan, he is British, so he's probably been on a bunch of.
He's been on Doctor Who at least 3 times, probably.
Right. Yeah, he's been on a bunch of BBC one-offs. Yeah.
Hey, you say that? Isn't Disney Plus trying to get the rights to do Doctor Who on Disney Plus or something right now?
Yeah, they're trying to get the rights to streaming rights.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And I wouldn't be surprised if HBO fights them tooth and nail for it. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the show, but I think it's kind of stupid not to have it.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I think the idea of there being 2 kind of mini seasons out of these 18 episodes is a good one, and I think the second half of it will just be Matt and Jessica beating up Danny Rand for 9 episodes, just 9 hours of him being beaten.
I really feel like they're saving Iron Fist for Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, they should.
It'll be Colleen. It'll be Colleen.
Yeah.
Well,
which would be cool.
Here's the thing. The whole what I hate is that like that show ends on a cliffhanger of my like one of my favorite comic book runs.
Yeah, the Brubaker run. Yeah,
the Brubaker run is like one of the best comic book runs I've ever read, and I love that story, which could totally fit into Shang-Chi, like the other Mortal Weapons. Like, give me that show. Give me like I want to see Fat Cobra. Like,
yeah, well,
what is it? Dog Orphan.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've
Like
read the run.
the Spider Sister, like Dog Orphan. Fat Cobra's the one he gets the most coverage.
Yeah, Fat Cobra does.
Fat Cobra rules.
But yeah, I mean, I could see them going with Colleen. That would make more sense based with how smart Marvel has been with like their casting choices, especially with things that involve Asian culture. But part of me kind of does want a legit Danny Rand.
I think going with Colleen does not mean Danny Rand can't show back up.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be the same actor at all.
No, exactly. I want them to excise that from everything. Like, yeah. Like I want a new Danny Rand.
I think Charlie Cox said something interesting recently where he was like, "We're kind of just keeping what makes sense."
Yeah. Well, they could just say Danny died during the 5-year gap, and we get a multiverse version of Danny.
Where they don't even acknowledge that he existed, like Hunter was just saying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh, so they just Terrence Howard him?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be okay with that.
Colleen can just be somebody who found what the fuck is his city called? What's his
Kunlun? Oh no, see, I think I would rather them just be like, we just get rid of the actor and we just move forward.
I think that's just, it's just kind of what has to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
because he's such a big part of the street level stuff.
She can still have already been the Iron Fist this whole time. That's what I'm saying. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I'm okay with that, but I'm saying that like Danny Rand can still show up. It's not like anything.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: nothing's off the table anymore.
Exactly. Exactly.
Except Matt not wearing a suit, which I will die on this hill. I will fucking die on this hill. It's fucking stupid. I don't care. But yeah, I'm glad he's wearing a suit again. So that was nice.
See, I love the black suit.
Yes.
But I love like the black like headband. It looks so fucking awesome. But eventually he has to be in a costume.
I also kind of hope they do the yellow suit like you were
saying. I do too.
I fucking love that yellow suit.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
It wasn't a yellow suit in that She-Hulk trailer, but it is an all-black suit.
Yeah,
there were hints of red.
There was red.
More like his it looks like his Mark Waid run suit. I think.
That like armory one.
Yeah.
What I was getting to is he could easily put like a yellow overshirt on of some kind, maybe, perhaps.
Well, fuck you! I want him head to toe in yellow with like a weird burgundy chest.
Well, and that could then lead into a D-Man existing in the Marvel universe too, the homeless superhero who would wear a yellow Daredevil T-shirt.
Well, that character is in is it D-Man or is it Demolition?
He's in Demolition. He wasn't. Yeah. D-Man. Yeah. If I remember correctly. So this is the point where I'm not sure which of these is going to be the big closer. If it's going to be Captain America: New World Order, or if it's going to be Thunderbolts.
No, Thunderbolts is hard confirmed. The end of Phase 4. Like,
that doesn't,
the end of Phase 5. I mean,
that doesn't mean it's the like big show.
No,
because I mean, if you remember, like
those seem to tie together in very many ways. I bet like Captain America ends with whoever's in control of like all of that, like that the Norman Osborn character rises out of the Captain America.
Yeah.
Of like what like in that Thunderbolts comic, like that character. I think we see him get to full power at the end of Captain America, which it could be Dreyfus, it could be any number of characters.
I think honestly that it's going to be Doctor Doom, because you like we're going to get into it, but Phase 6 they announced 3 films, which is Fantastic Four, Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars.
That's the other thing to touch back on Black Panther real quick. There has been a rumor floating around Black Panther for the longest time that Doom is supposed to show up in it. Now,
Maybe.
if it's a mid or post credits thing, okay, but yeah, that they're going to start sowing the seeds of Latveria and Doom starting in Wakanda forever.
I think it's going to be his name rather than him showing up, or like,
yeah,
or it's going to be. I honestly feel like it's going to be like a Thanos thing where he first shows up in Avengers. Yeah, at the end of Avengers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where you just see like a green cloak and a turning of the head or something like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what Captain America is going to be all about. Like
it would be interesting if they made Doom someone who's like ancestry goes back to Latveria or whatever, but he's American, and they kind of make him more like
I could see that.
His front facing is a politician, kind of like the Norman we get in the Spider-Man game, and make him like, I don't know if they would do it, but like it'd be really fun to be like an alt-right Doom.
I don't know if they'd go that far.
I mean, we're kind of playing with that with what's his name?
Wyatt Russell.
Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, but Disney.
But
Disney isn't going to actively alienate fans regardless.
U.S. Agent also isn't really like, he's not egregiously like Republican or anything.
He has values that are very reminiscent of what Captain America would have, but he doesn't have like the morality behind them.
Yeah, he doesn't have the heart, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're saying they won't have him say like "make the world great again"?
No.
But I mean, they definitely. I mean, they also walked a lot of this back, but in Falcon and Winter Soldier, they like do a police brutality thing with the whole.
They do
taking a guy's head off.
Yeah. You know what they could play with, because in that show, in Falcon Winter Soldier, there's like the organization of like that. Remember they're talking to? There's like the world organization of all the different things.
Yeah, I could see
if like Doom becomes the power in that.
Possibly.
Mean, as much as I didn't like it, the Emily Van Camp stuff could be heading towards something. Could be setting something up. So. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I feel like the Flag Smasher stuff was just there to be the boom pow fun enemies to fight.
I'm more thinking the like who is she talking to at the end and the whole power broker angle of yeah, like is the person above her, is that Doom or
yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that aspect.
Doom, it'll be Rockstar. No, I'm just kidding.
So do we know anything about Captain America New World Order, or is the New World Order going to think?
They literally just said that.
Okay, that's it.
We know the writer directors, and that's it.
You know what's interesting is the first episode of Falcon Winter Soldier is called New World Order.
Oh, interesting. Okay. But yeah, I'm wondering if Lou is right with saying that it's going to be connected with Thunderbolts, just because New World Order could be how Wyatt Russell's U.S. agent is making people believe like he's a good Captain America, but it's like the rise of the Thunderbolts in the background. So it's this insidious group that's supposed to be representing American values and blah blah.
Yeah, I would not be shocked if at the end of that movie we see like a Dark Avengers portrayed.
I don't think they're going to do that. I think the Thunderbolts. I think the Thunderbolts are going to kind of take that place.
Well, see, I see in my head the Thunderbolts are the more not Black Opsy, but like I think it really depends on how they go. Like I could see the Thunderbolts being like gun Suicide Squad in many ways, but I could see them being the TV like front. But I think the Dark Avengers would be interesting. Like have a different Spider-Man. Our version of Cap.
I think what you want is unfortunately not realistic with like what we like out of the comics is not realistic 100% for the movies.
Also, I feel like if you're going to do a Dark Avengers thing, it has to be after Secret Wars.
Yeah.
It's like the event. I feel like you can't have multiple Avengers teams in the same movie. Unfortunately.
No, like Thunderbolts, like at least to me, like they work as the analog for Dark Avengers because they've already got their dark version of Cap. with US Agent and like whoever else, like they've got their dark version of Black Widow. So like we're gonna see a dark version of the Avengers, but they might not know that they're doing whatever bad stuff, and so some of them will get taken out. And I could see that being the Suicide Squad-esque angle, where like the Thunderbolts are just a rotating lineup.
Which, speaking of, like, where does Yelena fit into all this?
Yeah, exactly.
On the Thunderbolts.
I see. I think it would be more interesting if she showed up in the Cat movie.
Well, yeah, but they established that at the end, like her connection with the Thunderbolt. So, I mean, she went back to report to whoever or hunt down Madam Hydra. I don't know, because
I'm guessing, this is a guess, that at the end of She-Hulk, Abomination is approached.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, with Eric, what you're saying, like, my thought is, like, maybe she comes and talks to Sam.
Maybe, but yeah, we don't know where she was.
Like,
we don't know where she was at the end of Hawkeye. That's the thing. Because she kind of fucked off at the end of it. Like, we don't really know 100% where she was going.
Right.
Because she's too big of a star to me to be like, not a major character in one of these films.
Oh, and that's where I think she could be the big character in Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Okay. See, to me, like, I could see her and Anthony Mackie doing a two-hander as opposed, because I don't know if they're going to do Winter Soldier and him again.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I kind of don't want them to.
I think he is going to be in that Cat movie, though. I thought he was. I thought they had already said that he was.
He probably will. I mean,
I just don't want them to be stuck together. Like, it seems like it's hurting. It's like, oh, we can only have Anthony Mackie as Captain America if we also have Sebastian Stan like next to him. Like,
yeah, and don't get me wrong, their chemistry is great, but yeah, I 100% agree. Like, Anthony Mackie needs to be, excuse the terrible pun, but allowed to fly. Like, he needs to be able to do his thing.
Yeah,
he doesn't need all the like bro guys can like be like, oh, I'm also watching like, Winter Soldiers, who I'm here for. Like, it kind of depreciates the value of having.
It's okay. You can say the racists you're watching.
On one hand, I agree. On the other hand, I don't think people are going to be okay with not seeing Sebastian until the next Avengers movie.
Yeah. I can see him doing a cameo. I just don't want him being like it's a two-hander with both of them. We got that. It was a TV show.
Here's the thing.
I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking like Iron Man 3 is where I would is sort of what I'm picturing more than anything.
My thing with Bucky is he's too big of a character now. So it's like I doubt he's going to be saved until just Captain America. Like, I'm sure he'll be in like some other stuff.
Like, if anything, I could see him being the antagonist in Thunderbolts.
Oh, that's true. No, that's a good point.
Like, which would be kind of fun.
That would be kind of perfect. Yeah.
The pitch that I've thought of for a while is, I could just see him going off on his own adventures as well. I could see them announcing like a Winter Soldier show.
Also,
I would not be surprised if he shows up in Black Panther.
I wouldn't either, honestly.
No, not at all. And actually, real quick, Lou, for him to be in Thunderbolts and team up with Yelena, and then they could have the Black Widow and Bucky romance that was in the comics, but it's just not the Black Widow we had. That
works. That works for me.
Yeah, I think
solves the Yelena, like, not like Pew is such a big star.
I mean, on that note, they really did. They tried to make him, Sam, and U.S. Agent buddy at the end, but they really tried to make Bucky and U.S. Agent like not quite friends, but like, oh, I can see like these two hanging out in their personal time.
There's clearly understanding between them too.
Yeah.
Yes, like they really like tried to pretend that they had done the work to earn that. They didn't, but they really wanted you to feel that they did.
And I think after the Black Widow movie, Winter Soldier and Yelena would have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, they have pretty similar stories.
And they're all characters who have they have baggage the way that Natasha did. And I could see them being tricked as a group into doing what they think is the right thing.
Which will just further the goals of Madam Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And and this, like we said, they mess some things up. Maybe they do some things seemingly for the right reason. And as I've been saying for years, this is what causes there to be a need for the Young Avengers or another Avengers team of younger characters who are like, that's not right. Something's
Well,
off.
yeah, it's the rebellion. It would kind of latch on to, like, if people in this universe rose up, kind of like how BLM was and everything else, where people were actually actively on the streets, but these would be people who take it to the next level.
Yep.
Yeah. That's where, like, I wonder if the Thunderbolts movie is kind of very subversive, where, like, we're following the Thunderbolts, but they're kind of the team of the rich establishment.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah,
like,
that's definitely an idea that Disney would touch on, but for them to go full out, like,
no, that's
yeah,
that's
fuck you, Proud Boys and MAGA kids, like, no,
I do think
that's
it would be
Mm.
very interesting because he was a fairly decent sized character in that team at one point. Would we see that as the introduction or playing with Venom in any way, like an MCU version?
I really hope the MCU does not touch Venom any more than they're contractually
Because
obligated to.
I would be interested to see what our mirror version of a Spider-Man is, because he was, or like something like that, or
I don't
who's
want
on
Venom
that team.
I don't want Venom in the MCU. Like, I really don't.
Yeah.
I like Agent Venom, and like having like the
once again, like, what you like in the comics doesn't translate,
or like
unfortunately.
the Mac Gargan, like the Scorpion Venom.
Yeah.
We have to think about this very realistically, and we have to. And here's the thing: you can usually tell based off of what you see in the MCU. So, for example, light spoilers for Love and Thunder, I guess. Gore is not connected to the symbiote at all, seemingly, in that movie.
Yeah.
Well, and the symbiote being the Necro Sword wasn't established until much later, I thought. I don't remember it happening in the Aaron run.
I think that's when King in Black, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
So,
yeah.
They really don't even suggest it. Like, they don't even have any like visual cues that would make that seem like it could be a thing. I think that they would if they were like Venom in the mainline MCU. I think the Venom stuff is all going to play out in potential new Spider-Man movies in connection with Marvel.
I guess there's like who is on that Thunderbolt team. I do agree, like, it's Abomination, it's US Agent.
It's just the Bizarro Avengers. So, like, they need to have their Iron Man analog, who they'll introduce at some point. Like, I think it's just going to be the evil Avengers, essentially.
What if
I see David Harbour being one of them as well?
That would be interesting.
I'd actually really love that. I kind of hope Vulture is a little bit.
Yeah.
Vulture would be very, because he would be the Iron Man kind of.
I assume all the Spider-Man stuff is literally a flip of the coin. Like,
it's
a flip of the coin whether or not Spider-Man will be in the potential Young Avengers. It's truly like a flip of the coin whether he's even addressed in it, whether they even say the word Spider-Man.
Well, because the thing is, we don't have
the posters, and he's the lead alongside Miss Marvel, I guess.
But like, we don't have many like side villains that are alive. Like, none of the Cap guys are alive. None of Iron Man's like villains are alive still.
Justin Hammer's still alive, and Zemo is still alive. Cap.
Zemo's still around.
I think Zemo is definitely in that movie in my head.
Yeah.
They can pull some bullshit and have Jake Gyllenhaal come back.
Sure.
And actually, Zemo is the Iron Man analog.
Yeah. And they have been.
Well, Zemo could be the Norman analog.
No, but I'm saying for the Thunderbolts.
Yeah. They've been purposefully keeping villains alive. Like,
recently. Like, in the like since like phase 2, 3-ish. But like Iron Man, like none of Iron Man's villains are alive except for Hammer.
The TV shows, they kind of have to.
There's other stuff to remember, of course. They announced Armor Wars a long time ago. We still don't know when that's happening.
Yeah, that did not get a date or anything.
And as I said in the chat, a lot of stuff is coming out and yet to come out that is part of Phase 4 that was not announced.
Yeah.
Back when they announced Phase 4. I don't think that Halloween special was announced. And I don't think the Guardians Christmas special was announced.
No, one of them. Which Christmas special? The Guardians one?
The Guardians Christmas special was that?
No,
announced?
that was announced around the same time that they said Guardians was going to be coming out in 2023.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're like, you'll get a little taste of what's going on with them, and then you'll get the movie a little bit later than the following year.
Part of me thinks they push Armor Wars to Phase 6.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I can see that being the outcome of
the
New World Order.
Actually,
being the next thing, and that's sort of what puts it
I could see that being the kickoff of Phase 6 after the kickoff of Phase 6, because the beginning of Phase 6 is Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Because they announced that, and that's going to have huge fucking ramifications, I think, because I think we're going to get back onto, like, I'm hoping, I don't know how it'll work, but I'm really hoping we get Galactus by the end of Phase 6.
Yeah. I wonder if he is our answer to the multiverse problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could be. I mean,
I wonder if we weirdly like the what is it called? Like Avengers Multiverse.
Well,
I wonder if that's almost like a weird crisis in like the DC version crisis movie.
There's the Kang Dynasty is in May, and then November is Secret Wars for Phase 6. That's 2025.
Yeah. Well, there's a something was named Multiverse, right?
No, I think they were just saying this is what the multiverse saga is.
It's
like
the
how
multiverse saga.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's the Infinity Saga, and then they're calling this the multiverse saga.
Yeah, I wonder if at some point we get a crisis-like event.
I hope not. I really don't want them dipping into DC toes.
No, there's a Secret Wars that they said, right?
Yeah.
Well, but Secret Wars could be a lot of different things, because don't forget what Secret Wars was in the Hickman run of the original Avengers. Yeah. So
I can see them with the multiverse stuff playing with that original version in some form, and then replacing the Beyonder with Kang.
I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I think the Kang Dynasty is going to end on something where Kang loses control of his ability to go between universes and time, and that's going to be the secret war behind the scenes, and that's how Galactus is going to get involved somehow.
Because that's the thing, is like that's been a title that's been used in so many different stories of so many different levels.
Exactly. Well, and didn't the Russos say they would only come back if they could do Secret Wars?
Yeah.
But did they ever say which Secret Wars?
No, they never did.
Yes, because there's like the original one.
Oh, I know, which would introduce Venom and all this other stuff, but it also doesn't. It wouldn't have Colossus.
Well, we don't need that because at the end of.
Well, we don't need Venom. We don't need Venom.
More like I can see them doing that original one with the multiverse, so that we get a way to fix, adjust, and bring back other versions of characters in the end of it. Or I could see it as like the version that sets up like the Latveria stuff, where they do a secret mission that
you know what's interesting is what they announced is it's Fantastic Four, it's the Kang Dynasty, and it's Secret Wars. So very clearly all these movies kind of feed into each other. So what I'm saying is Kang going to be related to the Richards?
I'm wondering.
He is in
the comics.
But like I think that makes sense even in the MCU.
Yeah.
Like if you're introducing Kang and then you have the Richard shows up and it's like, and again, it depends on what the Fantastic Four movie is. Are they from another universe? Are they lost in time?
Fantastic Four movie as well. They could depart from the comics entirely if they cast certain actors. If they cast the lead of Overlord as Reed, that changes how related directly or not Kang could be.
I'm fine with
a number of ways.
Like I don't care what race they are.
Yeah.
I don't really, but
because there was another rumor I do want to talk about, but it wasn't announced. Nothing with X-Men was announced. That was a fucking wild ass rumor.
Yeah, well, I mean, we might as well get to that real quick, but yeah, I know exactly which one.
She-Hulk for a second, because that second trailer.
I
think it was fun.
I'm not feeling the special effects. Like
better than that first trailer.
They are, but they're still not great. Like,
yeah. I mean, so I think it's.
I like the vibe.
I watched a video that they did on the first trailer, and what they pointed out is like, we know what Tatiana Maslany is supposed to look like, and I think particularly in Three of Us's case, because Eric, you watched Orphan Black, correct? Or
I watched parts of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
So you know her, essentially in the ways that you need to. Like, we all have a really strong idea of what she looks like, and that sets a very unreachable standard. Versus the Ruffalo Hulk, which is a little bit less human. He's a bit more outside of what we expect from reality. So I think that, especially in the second trailer, where I can tell the CG is a little bit better than it was in the first trailer, I think we're hitting Canny Valley a lot here. And
Ruffalo Hulk doesn't look like exactly Ruffalo.
Exactly.
But She-Hulk looks like big green Tatiana.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's the biggest problem. I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah. I wonder if there will be times that we see her like savage out. Yeah.
I'm wondering. That's I think my biggest problem. Like, and I don't know, like, I like the slot run on She-Hulk. It's good, but for me, it's something that works better in the comics than it does on screen for me. And
which is what they seem to be doing. It seems like
100%
comedy.
100%, and that's
which is an interesting take.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, the stuff about this that interests me most is kind of what I think Hunter is probably the most excited about as well, which is like
being stepped on,
level stuff. And yes, that as well. I'm also a big fan of that. Me and Hunter have a chat where we just talk about this.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, and I'm hoping with the introduction of Star Fox that they will have the storyline where she has to defend him for for rape charges.
No, that's actually not the case. The case is Thanos comes and says the reason I am the way I am is because he talked to me when I was a kid and made me fall in love with the idea of death.
Yeah.
And then they find out it's not actually Thanos, it's a robot. And they're like, to prove that it's not Thanos, they're like, Thanos wouldn't bring himself to a trial. And then Thanos says, like, you're right, I'm too good for this. I'm definitely a robot.
I could have sworn there was like some sort of like.
Oh no, that's that's Thanos' defense. He brings it's very similar to certain candidates did in 2016. Every person to accuse Star Fox of manipulating them to the case.
Okay. But no, that's just my goofy wish. But I don't know. Like, the She-Hulk thing is just, I didn't have any feelings towards Miss Marvel. I was like, that's cool, it's coming out, and I loved every second of it. So maybe it's going to be the same thing with She-Hulk.
And it seems like they're using that show to open up the world of superhumans in a big way.
They're showing the more
goofy.
Yeah. It's more what this could lead to. Like, I've mentioned this, I think, on here before. Like, the fact that in at least the most recent She-Hulk, she shares an office with Howard the Duck. I don't know if they're going to do that in this show, but that's the kind of thing that I'm like, oh, it would be interesting to see these like connections grow out of this. It doesn't need to be Howard. You could find another Marvel character to put in there in a similar role that would be equally as entertaining and funny. So that's the stuff that really has me more interested. Like, I know enough about this character and the characters that she's connected to that interests me more. Not so much this show, really.
Well, She-Hulk's a odd character.
Yes.
Like, because she's doesn't have like her whole thing, which it seems like they're touching on, is the idea of a woman, as we say this as four guys, deal like the world and herself dealing with a woman having her exhibitions removed.
Well, being in a place of power, both physically and like emotionally and career-wise. Yeah.
Which I like the stuff with her and Hulk when like he throws the rock, she throws it farther, and she's just like, I'm doing, like, he does yoga and she's like just like doing it even more advanced. She's just like, why am I here?
Well, and that was part of the big struggle in the comics for her, was that she wanted to have respect as Jennifer Walters, but like everybody wanted She-Hulk, and she was hired originally as Jennifer Walters, not because the law firm wanted She-Hulk. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they'll
to
touch
me
on
it
some of
seems
that.
like they are doing Orlando. Was it what is Lando, Luckman, and Lake?
I guess.
I feel like we're teasing that, which works in the multiverse because they were a multiversal.
Yeah, they were. That's how she ended up boxing the champion.
Yes, and
yeah, this is all the slot run.
Yeah, which is interesting, and I could see this because I think that people posted like other like URLs and stuff that Marvel bought. I think one of them was Hercules. I'm like, I can see Hercules popping up in their show.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Or indecent exposure because he's only wearing like that little tiny toga pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, once like Secret Wars and Dynasty of Kang, like no ideas what either of those are going to be about, because it could be anything. It could be anything.
Yeah, I want to see Ancient Egypt. I'm just like trying to torture Hunter, like because what is it? What was his? He's not the pharaoh. What was his fucking Egyptian name?
Who?
Immortus?
Oh, Kang. No, Immortus is when he's much older.
Which is the Ancient Egypt one?
Like it was Ramen Tut or something like
Ramen
that.
Tut. He was like, he's not the living pharaoh. That's a different asshole.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because he ran into the FF like back.
He has connections to Apocalypse.
Yeah, because Apocalypse was around during that time too. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm curious how much it's going to connect Fantastic Four, because I mean I feel like that's kind of what they're doing here, is they positioning Fantastic Four to be the next big thing.
He's technically Reed's descendant, I believe, right? In the comics.
Yeah, I think so. I can't.
And there's the other version that's Iron Lad. Yeah. Which would be, I think, what
that would be
Young
Avengers
might show up in the Ant-Man, is like a version of Iron Lad.
Yeah, I don't know. Like because we don't literally know nothing about what their plans are with Kang. Like,
and he's literally like, besides Thanos, like could be anything, because that's Kang. Like exactly. He's anything.
But yeah, the big rumor that seemed to just come out of nowhere, and I've actually seen like more legitimate sites like reporting on it. But if you want to drop that news, Lou, since you were the one who brought it up,
I think you're talking about the Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Which like this news I saw, and I was like, it's like the Archer meme, like I can only get so wrecked.
It's so perfect.
As Professor Xavier.
Yeah. For those who don't recognize that actor's name, he was Gus on Breaking Bad.
Gus.
Yeah.
He's also which I had spot, which is
I'm one of the few subscribers of like Dropout, the college humor thing, and he jumped in secretly in an episode they did of like called Game Changer. Highly recommend, like on Zoom, of like the goal was to see if you could outact him. He is all for fun and games. We see him in Star Wars. I can 100% see this, and with me, I was like, if they're doing that, we are going for Xavier is a fucking bastard. Like,
well, but it also will tie in better to the thing that was it Stan Lee who originally said he'd always seen Professor X and Magneto as analogs for MLK and
there's a lot of people who compare the two of them. Yeah. To compare those two characters to those two real life people, it makes sense on a very base level. That's my historical brain thinking. But specifically to get an actor as heavy, like that is a major heavy character, like actor. Yes. Like you are going for a very specific archetype with that Xavier.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, I don't even want to say that's what they're going to go based on his prior roles, because this could be his chance to be like, oh, he's always wanted to play the good guy because he is that guy who plays the bad guy.
I think he's like, he could be the good guy who's, again, doing the things. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a good guy, but he's also like a arrogant like self-righteous asshole, which is kind of what Xavier is to me. Like,
yeah.
And I think we're getting that a lot in the more current comics of like everyone's like, oh, like that's what he is. Don't like daddy has his way of doing things. Don't get on the daddy's wrong side. And that's the Xavier that he feels like to me.
Well, Hunter and I were talking about this in the chat. If they're going with Giancarlo as Professor X, then they should have, and I think Hunter, you were the one who'd said like they should have somebody from like Israel or Palestine playing Magneto, because that still gives you the connection to the Holocaust, but it's not a 9,000-year-old man playing Magneto.
Right. Which there were rumors years ago of Denzel as Magneto.
Yeah, well, I think that's long past at this point.
I don't think Denzel is as interested as people think he is.
No. And like
that was the energy of the time.
Which I feel like Giancarlo's kind of the same energy, just now as Xavier. Like
yeah, but they need somebody who could bounce off of him, and well,
you need a big.
Giancarlo is also part of the Disney machine, so
yes.
I mean, he's already got an in. That's
yeah. Well, no, but Arlen, sounds like you had something you wanted to say when we were talking about Giancarlo.
X and Eric, they've always been. Neither of them have ever been like black hat, white hat characters. Like they've always been a little bit sort of grayish. Eric especially, and I think it's interesting to cast an actor who is so not necessarily associated with being a villain, but having maliciousness in him. Especially recently, having that person play Xavier is fascinating. And if you find another actor who is in a similar who has a similar vibe to him, the real interchangeability of them just makes sense. And also, again, the thing that I love about First Class is the fact that you genuinely believe that these two people are friends, and you completely understand where they're coming from in their upbringings, and you also understand why the division is as sharp as it is and why the split is as hard for both of them as it is. And I think that with the right casting, you can find somebody who sells that without even having to show it.
That was going to be my question. It's like, all right, so who would be an actor who would fall into, which, like I said before, I think Hunter nailed it on the head, having someone who is supposed to be Palestinian or Iranian, or not Iranian, God damn it, Israeli, from his.
I mean, it could be the character could be Mexican and have Israeli, or not Israeli, but Jewish roots. He could have European Jewish roots, because a lot of people went to Mexico afterwards.
Well, I get that, but having somebody from Israel, like having the Defense Force background, would make more sense too for someone who was Magneto.
So I googled Giancarlo Esposito's in his early 60s. I think I saw 61. I was like, actors in their 60s.
Yeah.
Two of the names that first popped out to me, I'm like, holy shit, I could totally see them being a version of Magneto. I don't know how it would work, but like Antonio Banderas as one version, or Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz, I think, would be a little too nail on the head.
Yeah,
Christoph is a little bit, but
Cranston.
And I don't know.
If you're going with Giancarlo Esposito, I don't want another white guy. I'm gonna be honest.
No.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let's see.
Yeah.
And that's where, knowing that he's 60, I don't know how much Marvel
Mandy Patinkin.
Kill me. But no, I don't know how much Marvel would want to sign someone that old on. I mean, I know they want somebody who's going to seem scholarly and fatherly and whatnot, but this is the devil's advocate part of me saying that they also want to have somebody they know they can milk for a lot of films.
I mean, here's the thing though, they could also just blatantly copy the Fox X-Men, since they've already established flashback stories and entire movies set in past decades. I wouldn't have any problem with them doing it again as long as they have a story to tell.
That's fine, but that I'm saying like for future X-Men films, let's say.
I know. I'm just saying they have a way to make it. They have a way to like. They run out of story with the older versions, but I understand what you mean.
I don't think audiences are going to want flashback movies. That's the biggest problem.
I know they do, but the door is open still.
What if instead of the Holocaust, the person's a survivor from like Hiroshima?
That's what I was saying. Like,
I mean, that's not,
or like something happening. Maybe not like that, or because I'm looking at
more contemporary. It needs to be more contemporary.
Goes for Magneto is have him be a survivor of the Cambodian Holocaust.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Because I'm looking at
that the U.S. is basically directly responsible for. It's a thing where the people that came in and saved the day and stopped that were actually the Vietnamese, because they were like, "What the fuck." China, Russia, you're not doing anything about this, so we have to step in. And there's interesting political stuff there. But that was sort of one of the things I was saying in the chat is like maybe making people aware of other times in history where this has happened is a good idea. But to a point Eric made earlier that I'm just now thinking of, China is also a factor. So that may change which past genocides they choose, or if they just decide to be safe and stick with Jewish Magneto. I don't know. They could also have him be second generation. I don't think that works as well. But
well, one of the names I saw like the same age range is the guy who played Scorpion. I'm looking a little younger now, people. Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough role because he's such an important heavy. Like,
yeah, I think they'll nail it though. I think once you have Giancarlo, you just cast any actor you can find who works well with Giancarlo. Like, it doesn't even need to be somebody we know or have an attachment to. It could be like a stage actor that most of us don't know the name of who happens to work really well and bounce off of Giancarlo well, which is a good choice. It's worked out very well in the past. Someone who we don't know, but who's clearly experienced. I mean, to go back to the Christoph Waltz example, that guy had an entire career in Austria before any of us had even seen him.
Here's an odd name as I'm running through. Sacha Baron Cohen. I don't know why.
No.
You don't think he can pull the serious?
As an X-Men character, sure, but as
not as Magneto. Magneto kind of needs like gravitas.
I feel like he could do that.
Mel Gibson. No, I'm just kidding.
He was on the list. I scrolled over him.
The optics of casting Mel Gibson as Magneto.
I think we're starting to spin here. So do we want to maybe wrap up a little bit? I don't know.
It's midnight.
Yeah, it's probably good.
What I'm going to say is like I'm excited for all the animated X-Men stuff, which is real interesting to me.
That Storm has her mohawk and Nightcrawler's back.
Magneto's big obvious M on his chest.
Yes,
but that's from the comics.
That is, yeah. But
I think he
looks so rad in it.
Trial of Magneto era. That's like
I think so.
Early '80s. That's like early Claremont.
That's when Xavier was off world with the
Melandra.
Yeah.
Having sex with a bird lady.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sticking in her cloaca.
Oh, all right.
I literally like one of the podcasts I listen to, they like spent like 3 minutes like, wait, how do the Shi'ar like they can have sex and procreate with millions? Like, how does that work?
Hell yeah, they can.
Ridiculous.
Anyway, Eric, do you want to start since you are hosting the show technically?
1 second, I had to chew something up. Yeah, hey, this has been our sometimes rambling talk about probably not everything that was released at Comic-Con, but 2022 Comic-Con stuff, MCU, fun.
It's Marvel Shieldcast. That's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, the company that continues to deliver. They don't have anybody they've had to chase off of certain states within the United States. If you want to find me, I'm on Instagram at Eric_Fedor. There's pictures of dogs, food, and cats, and comics. Flare on Phantom Zone, Flare on Facebook. I'm here, there, everywhere. Go read some comics. Go read some Marvel comics. There's a bunch of good stuff out there. If you have Hoopla, use that. I mean, hopefully
and if you can't read, sound it out.
Exactly.
You can get the story with the pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
There are Marvel kids books, so you can learn to read with.
That's
Marvel.
true.
Legitimately, people do that. That's how a lot of people learned English.
Yeah, I've definitely read that before. That like people are like, I learned English by reading comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could learn how to read Braille and then use that to pick up girls at the bar. So
Bang Pow comics aren't just for Americans. So just go read some comics. There's some really great stuff out there. If you want to know about some good stuff, don't ask me because I will not tell you because I'm gatekeeping, and you're probably a woman.
Yeah,
and that's it.
In space,
women don't listen to this show, Eric.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Absolutely not. LHP comes out. When it comes out, go listen to the whole back catalog and then tell us what we should revisit. Other than that, I got no other plugs.
You can go listen to Comic Club podcast. That's me and my friend Frank talk about video game news, and you can also listen to my other podcast, Crossover Attack, which is sort of like that, but kind of more longer, more in depth. Also, we're going to maybe have guests on Crossover Attack soon, so that's exciting.
Nice.
But go listen to that.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to listen to Crossover Attack at all yet because I've got other stuff I'm catching up on. So, do you also neglect on that show to mention anything about the Phantom Zone? I'm just curious. Inquiring minds.
Anyways, what's the Phantom Zone?
Did you have anything? Or
yeah, we did a watch party with Batman Forever because someone compared Thor: Love and Thunder to it, and it is a movie that I liked when I first saw it, and in rewatching, I liked certain actors' portrayals in it, and that's about it.
The Seal song just carried you away. That's what it was.
It is.
I do think every scene Jim Carrey's in is the best. Every scene he's not in is very hard to watch.
The scenes with it's Nicole Kidman is in that one, right?
Yeah.
This movie is
Meridian.
The movie is so horny.
Well, no, but
it is so sexual.
There's the point where is it Val Kilmer is essentially explaining to her that he's Batman, and she comes across as she has a learning disability. Like he basically puts it all on the table for her, and she still doesn't understand what he's telling her.
Yes, but that's not like her her sexual aggressiveness is insane in the movie. Like it is insane. Like it is from the first. She's just like horny for Batman, and and she's amazingly gorgeous. It's like, oh, we saw what Michelle Pfeiffer did. Everyone loved it. She was sexy. It was all innuendo. Awesome. What if we just don't do innuendo and we just make her openly trying to bang Batman? Like,
so she's a sexual predator, is what you're saying.
Like they show like she's naked in bed. She's in like a straight up like Victoria's Secret outfit. I'm like, how is this like? It is fucking wild.
Different time.
And also, there's like Batman is 35 and Robin is 28.
Well,
and he adopts him.
A quick side note:
what I'm afraid of, and he should have.
It's not to go too far down the rabbit hole on this, but didn't Joel Schumacher say he wanted to do Dark Knight Returns as his next Batman film after the Clooney Batman movie?
Well, every time Chris O'Donnell has said this doesn't make sense, he said it's a comic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who knows? All right. Well, I guess that's everything. Everybody, go watch some Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.